Ken Martin, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me back on, John. It was great to see you the other night at the Grinder party of all parties. It was amazing. Sounds great, John. Thank you. Appreciate it. I don't know about you, John, but I don't have a time machine. I don't think you do. No one does. Yeah, there's no smoking gun in the report. And I know that's what everyone's so eager to learn. The smoking gun. Guess what, John?
But if there's no smoking gun, why wouldn't you just release it then?
Because we want to keep the focus on the lessons. We're 189 days from this election, John. Because there's various groups and organizations and people who think there's some sort of smoking gun in there. Guess what, John? I think, John, the reality is you're proving my point here, right? People are obsessed about this in a way that continues to turn them away from wanting to focus on the lessons and instead thinking that there's some sort of smoking gun in here that's going to give them the one single reason that Kamala Harris lost the election, or the one single thing that we should have done differently that's going to actually help us win in the future. There is no one single thing that cost Kamala the election. There is no one single thing that we can do to help us win the upcoming election. There's a number of lessons for sure that will help us win in 26 and beyond. But again, I understand what you're saying, John. John, you're proving the point.
What's the point?
I mean,
what point?
Is the obsession on the report without actually focusing in on the lessons. People believe there's some sort of magic silver bullet in there that's going to solve all of our ills at the Democratic Party. There's not. And I understand.
I don't think there's going to be a magic silver bullet, though. Who thinks that? No one thinks it's good. No one thinks there's a magic silver bullet.
The person and people who are involved in it were not paid to do this work, and so I would just say that's inaccurate, John. I appreciate where it's coming from, John. Not just in 24, but in the years preceding that, John.
You mentioned an executive summary. Are you going to release an official executive summary? Make that public?
We've been releasing that, John. You know what we have been sharing out, John. The reality is that there's no smoking gun here. Okay, let's focus on the elections coming up, John. I've spent my entire career, John, learn the lessons. And I'm happy to go over what those lessons are. I'm happy to go over them with anyone who wants to talk about them, John. That's what we've been focused on, John.
Is it possible that the autopsy decision is actually costing you the money you need to win?
That's just inaccurate, John. Yes,
we do have
debt,
cash on
but
hand.
we do have debt, John, and that's because I took out a loan last year to make sure we could make deep investments. You know what we've been doing, John? My point to you is this, John. Okay, the average contribution is $51, by the way, John. And but what we're doing that's a little different, John.
Mm-hmm. So it seems like this is an issue unique to the DNC.
That's not accurate, John. Listen,
what part is not accurate?
You know, one of the lessons we learned, by the way, John, but the old conventional wisdom, John, it's not outrunning our costs, John. And I just say this to you, John. And what is the role of a political party, John? Win, John.
Right.
Again, John, you're just throwing out a bunch of garbage. We've never contemplated.
That's what the report was.
You know, you can take your check back if you don't believe it's a good investment, John. We spend over $10 million a year on that, John.
So what did buying the list?
You're confusing two things, John. We purchased that list. And let me just say this, John, that happens all the time.
Oh, I know. It's just a big chunk of money. That's why I was just wondering.
But as you know, John, that happens all the time. And so there's nothing new about that, John. And
DNC committee members who are asking you to release it. They're asking you to release it.
I know you want to keep focusing on that, and that's fine.
Well, I'm saying, and I do think that affects and the fundraising isn't going well either. So I feel like that's
the fundraising. That is just completely inaccurate, John.
But you're excluding debt. You don't have 50% more cash on hand if you include your debt.
John, we do, because
that's not true.
I mean, part of the challenge, John, is so I get that frustrates people, John.
It was interesting to learn that you do still plan on releasing an executive summary of the full after-action report publicly to people who want it. That is coming soon, I guess.
We've been releasing those. We'll continue to release those.
We've been releasing them. You've been releasing an executive summary, or you've been doing individual lessons? We've been
releasing those lessons. The lessons are the summary. We'll continue to do that, John.
Thank you, Ken Martin, for joining as always.
Thank you, John. John.
We're asking you to release it.
John.